I want to continue on with the question game we were making the last time we did a video. So to do this, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the question program from my Scratch beta personal stuff. And once that's open, we're gonna see inside of it. I will eventually share this and put it on my website to where everybody can access it and remix it. Now we're gonna look at this, and we're gonna change it to where instead of just going through the questions, we're gonna pick a random question and go to that question and do that question just because it adds some randomness to your program, and it also introduces another important block, which is the pick random block, as you can see right here. Now, in order to do this, we're going to have to go over to the data tab, and we used to change the number by 1, but we don't want to do that. We want to set the question number to a random value between 1 and 3. So in order to do that, we're going to pull in the set question number block here, and we're going to pull the pick random in here. And in the values, we're going to enter 1, 2, 3. That is the range of the values. So this will generate 1, 2, 3 because the values there and what it generates are inclusive, which means it'll generate the number 1, number 3 instead of like, oh, it'll generate 1.0001, it'll generate 1. And it's important to note that this generates integer values and not decimal values. Now that we have that there, we're going to go ahead and give it a try. We're just going to leave the repeat the same, and we're going to go ahead and click the green hat flag. What is the name of the program you're using? Of course it is Scratch. Good job. What is the name of the place where a sprite acts? And as you see, it went from question 1 now to question 3. And the place where the sprite acts is called the stage. And hopefully, yes, thank you. And as you see, one problem we have here is it generated 1, 3, 1, and it skipped over 2. We never actually got to 2. And this could be a problem if you have a list of questions and it goes through the list of questions without ever reaching a certain point in the list of questions. We're going to handle that in a minute, but right now I want to go ahead and show you one more important thing that should be pointed out. Now, right now the list of questions is 3 questions, but what if you were to expand upon the list of questions and it become 5 questions, 6 questions, 7 questions, 8 questions? Well, then you're going to have a problem. And there's only one way you can deal with that problem, really. You could, of course, change the value for the pick random range over here, but that can be time consuming. You can forget to do it, and it's not a very good method of going about things. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the number of items in the list for answers. So we're going to pull over length of answers, or you can do length of questions. We'll do length of questions just because I think it's not quite as confusing. And now this just does the exact same thing, except for it looks up the length of the questions list, which is actually 3. But if you were to change it, you would not have to go back to your code and change the number for the pick random range. I hope that was not too confusing, and now we're going to work on actually setting up the method for which we're going to be able to take the random questions and go straight through and not repeat any of the questions. So in order to do this, first we're going to pull in a different control block. We're going to pull in a forever if it still exists. Apparently the forever ifs do not exist anymore, so we're just going to do a forever with an if. Or actually we can just use repeat until. Yeah, that does basically does the exact same thing as what a forever if did, it appears. Sorry, I've not learned Scratch 2.0 to the ability that I probably should have before making these videos. Now we're going to pull the repeat until over here, and we're going to go here. Now, the condition that we want in here, we haven't exactly made the list for. We're going to go over here to the data tab, and we're going to make a list, and what we're going to put in this list is however many values are in the this questions thing. We want to put that number of numbers in the list. So if we have 1, 2, 3 questions, 1, 2, 3, we want to put 1, 2, 3 into the list. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions, we're going to put that many in the list. So in order to do this, we're going to name the list. For starters, we're going to make it private. And we are going to name this list questions used. And it's good to make sure you don't have any spaces when you create stuff on computers, such as variable names. And now what we first want to do is we want to get the initialization logic for this list. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the list is actually cleared. So we want to delete everything that exists within the list. Now we want to go over to the control structures, and we want to pick up a repeat block. And what we want to do is we want to basically set the value of the question number to a certain value. And what that'll enable us to do is to basically pick that value out and go to it in our actual question list. But what we want to do here is we want to set all the numbers into the list questions used. So to do that, we're going to have to make a variable. And this is what we would call in normal programming a temporary variable, a temp variable. So we're going to have temp questions, or question. And now that we have that created, first we want to set temp question to 1 right here. And we want to add the value 1 to it, and then we want to increment it, and we want to do that however many times there is a value in the questions thing. So for the repeat number, we want to do amount of items, the lengths of questions. And what that'll do is it'll allow it to loop through and go through all of that. And we want to have a add. We want to add 1, or the temp question value, to the list questions used. And you could have actually added this to the list here and done it a different way, but this is the way that I'm going to do it. And now that you have the add temp questions to questions used, we want to increment the value of temp question by 1. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this works right. I'm not exactly sure, and I haven't worked out the logic here. I may have to do length of questions -1, but I don't have to do that. We're correct. Great. And now we want to essentially just take the value out of the list whenever we actually call the question, and we want to make sure we repeat until the length of list questions used is 0. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go over to the operators and repeat until length of questions is equal to 0. So in order to do that, we're going to go back over to the data tab, and we're going to get the length of questions used. And we're going to do this until it's equal to 0. Now, as you see here, the set question number is set equal to a pick random of length of questions. But we can't do that. We have to set question number equal to the value that is actually within the question number needs to be a number that's contained within the list questions used. So in order to do that, we're going to have to set question number to pick random value from 1 to the length of questions used, and that value needs to be the actual value of it, not just a random number between 1 and questions used. So we're going to actually get the item number of questions used here at a random index value of the length of questions used. Questions used, and what that will do is it will just get a number from the length within questions used, and then it'll take that back to the list for question number from via the question number variable, and it'll take that and go into questions and get. So basically all we're doing is we're changing the logic here of how we're reaching the variable, and what this will allow is we won't get one question more than once. Once we have this created, we also want to go ahead and we want to delete the index that we get. So in order to do that, we're actually going to have a variable, because of the fact that you're going to pick this random here, and you're not going to have any guarantee that the next random number is going to be exactly the same. In fact, it's probably not going to be, because of how random number generators work. So we need to go back into the variables, and we're going to make a variable temp rand. That's going to be the name, because it's a temporary variable, and it's going to be for this sprite only. We're going to click OK, and basically all we're going to do here is we're going to set temp rand here before the set question number, and we're going to set that to whatever value it is. Then we're just going to plug in the variable value for temp rand into the item number. And you may be looking at me like, why are we doing this? And you just got to realize that we got to have this value, pick random 1 of length to questions used. We got to have that more than once, and that's the reason we're doing it like this. So once we have that set, we need to go ahead and pull the temp rand into the item number thing here, and we want to also go into data tab and pull in a delete, and we want to delete the temp rand, duplicate this over here and pull it over here of questions used, and now hopefully this script will work. What is the name of the place where a sprite acts? Stage. Great, that works. What is the type of animal that is connected with Scratch? Of course, it's the cat. And as you see, the program's working as we intended, as the used questions is having it pulled out. Whatever question you use is being pulled to leave what you haven't used, in which that enables you to not use more than one question more than once, but also have randomization. What is the name of the program you're using? It's of course Scratch. And as you see, our program works, and hopefully it doesn't go back. Nope, it ends execution there, and everything works great. This may not have been the best tutorial that I've ever made. The concept covered here is a little bit nerve-wracking to code live on webcam, but if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.